Harold Ramis was more than just a comedic genius, he was a trailblazer who reshaped the landscape of American comedy, both on screen and behind the camera. Born on November 21, 1944, in Chicago, Illinois, Ramis' journey to becoming one of Hollywood's most revered figures was filled with passion, innovation, and a deep understanding of the human condition. His legacy, however, is not just one of laughter, but also of profound insight, personal struggles, and an untimely, tragic end. Harold Allen Ramis was born into a Jewish family, the second of 3 children. His parents, Ruth and Nathan Ramis, were hard-working people who owned a small shop selling and repairing lighting fixtures. The family lived in the Rogers Park neighborhood of Chicago, a place that would greatly influence Ramis' perspective on life and comedy. Growing up in a modest household, Ramis was often surrounded by a mix of cultures and characters, which fueled his curiosity and sharpened his wit. From a young age, Ramis displayed a natural inclination toward humor. He was known for his mischievous nature and his ability to make people laugh. However, he was also an excellent student, excelling in both academics and extracurricular activities. At Stephen K. Hite Elementary School and later at Nicholas Senn High School, Ramis began to develop his distinctive voice, blending humor with keen observation. Ramis' early experiences in Chicago would later influence his work, infusing it with a sense of realism and a connection to the everyday lives of ordinary people. His humor was often rooted in the absurdities of daily life, a theme that would become a hallmark of his later films. After graduating from high school, Ramis attended Washington University in St. Louis, where he majored in English literature. It was here that he began to seriously consider a career in writing and comedy. At Washington University, Ramis was exposed to a wide range of literary works, from the classics to contemporary fiction, which helped him hone his skills as a writer. Ramis' time at college was also marked by his involvement in the university's theater program. He began writing and performing in student productions, experimenting with different styles of comedy and storytelling. This period was crucial in shaping Ramis' approach to humor. He learned to blend intellectual satire with slapstick, creating a style that was both thought-provoking and universally appealing. During his college years, Ramis also began to explore the philosophical aspects of comedy. He was particularly influenced by the works of writers like Kurt Vonnegut and Joseph Heller, who used humor to address serious social and existential issues. This intellectual approach to comedy would later become a defining characteristic of Ramis' work, particularly in films like Groundhog Day. After graduating from Washington University in 1966, Ramis returned to Chicago, where he took a job as a substitute teacher while pursuing his passion for writing. He also worked as a freelance journalist, contributing to publications like Playboy. However, it wasn't long before he found his true calling at the Second City, Chicago's famed improvisational comedy troupe. In 1969, Ramis joined the Second City, where he quickly became a standout performer and writer. The Second City was a launching pad for many of the great comedians of the time, and Ramis was no exception. His sharp wit, combined with his ability to craft complex, layered characters, made him a key player in the troupe. At the Second City, Ramis worked alongside future comedy legends such as John Belushi, Bill Murray, and Dan Aykroyd. These collaborations would prove to be pivotal in his career, leading to some of the most iconic films in comedy history. The experience at the Second City also allowed Ramis to refine his comedic style, which was characterized by a unique blend of absurdity, satire, and a deep understanding of human nature. Ramis' work at the Second City eventually led to his involvement in SCTV, Second City Television, a groundbreaking sketch comedy show that became a platform for his talents as both a writer and a performer. SCTV was known for its clever parodies and satirical takes on popular culture, and Ramis' contributions were instrumental in the show's success. Ramis' transition from television to film came in 1978 with the release of National Lampoon's Animal House, a film he co-wrote with Douglas Kenney and Chris Miller. Directed by John Landis, Animal House was a game-changer for the comedy genre. The film's anarchic spirit, irreverent humor, and sharp social commentary resonated with audiences, making it one of the highest-grossing comedies of its time. Animal House was more than just a commercial success, it was a cultural phenomenon. The film captured the zeitgeist of the late 1970s, reflecting the rebellious spirit of the era while also poking fun at the establishment. Ramis' ability to balance humor with social critique was on full display, and the film set the stage for his future work. Following the success of Animal House, Ramis made his directorial debut with Caddyshack in 1980. The film, which he co-wrote with Brian Doyle Murray and Douglas Caney, was initially met with mixed reviews but has since become a beloved classic. Caddyshack is a perfect example of Ramis' talent for blending different comedic styles, from slapstick to satire, and creating a film that appeals to a wide audience. The film's success was due in large part to Ramis' direction, which allowed the cast, including Bill Murray, Chevy Chase, and Rodney Dangerfield, to improvise and bring their unique comedic talents to the screen. Caddyshack is remembered not only for its memorable characters and quotable lines but also for its subversive take on the world of the wealthy and privileged. In 1984, Ramis reached new heights of success with the release of Ghostbusters, a film he co-wrote with Dan Aykroyd and starred in as Dr. Egon Spengler. Directed by Ivan Reitman, Ghostbusters was a genre-defying film that combined elements of comedy, science fiction, and horror. The result was a box office sensation that grossed over $295 million worldwide and became a defining film of the 1980s. Ghostbusters was more than just a successful movie, it was a cultural juggernaut. The film's unique blend of humor and supernatural thrills, combined with its memorable characters and iconic theme song, made it a phenomenon that transcended the big screen. Ramis' portrayal of Dr. Egon Spengler, the brainy and deadpan member of the Ghostbusters team, became iconic, and his performance added a perfect balance to the more eccentric characters played by his co-stars. The success of Ghostbusters spawned a franchise that included sequels, animated series, video games, and merchandise. It also solidified Ramis' status as one of the most influential figures in comedy. The film's impact on popular culture is undeniable, and it remains a beloved classic that continues to entertain audiences decades after its release. While Ghostbusters brought Ramis mainstream fame, it was his work on Groundhog Day that is often regarded as his magnum opus. Released in 1993, Groundhog Day was directed by Ramis and co-written with Danny Rubin. The film tells the story of Phil Connors, a cynical weatherman played by Bill Murray, who finds himself trapped in a time loop, forced to relive the same day over and over again. Groundhog Day was a departure from Ramis' earlier work in that it combined comedy with deeper philosophical themes. The film explores concepts of redemption, self-improvement, and the meaning of life, all within the framework of a romantic comedy. Ramis' direction was masterful, allowing the film to be both entertaining and thought-provoking. Critics and audiences alike praised Groundhog Day for its originality, wit, and emotional depth. The film has since become a beloved classic and is often cited as one of the greatest comedies of all time. Its influence can be seen in countless films and television shows that have followed, and it remains a touchstone in the world of comedy. Despite his professional success, Ramis' personal life was marked by challenges. He was married twice, first to Anne Plotkin, with whom he had a daughter, Violet, and later to Erica Mann, with whom he had two sons, Julian and Daniel. While Ramis was known as a devoted father and husband, the demands of his career often created tension in his personal relationships. One of the most significant personal and professional conflicts in Ramis' life was his falling out with Bill Murray during the making of Groundhog Day. The two had been close collaborators for years, but creative differences on the film's set strained their relationship. Murray wanted the film to focus more on the philosophical aspects, while Ramis aimed to maintain a balance with the comedic elements. The tension between the two led to a rift that lasted for years, and they did not speak for a long time after the film's release. This estrangement was a source of great pain for Ramis, as he had always valued his friendship and creative partnership with Murray. It wasn't until Ramis's health began to decline that the two reconciled, with Murray visiting Ramis shortly before his death. The reunion was a poignant moment, marking the end of a long period of separation and the rekindling of a deep bond that had once been at the heart of some of comedy's greatest films. In 2010, Harold Ramis was diagnosed with autoimmune inflammatory vasculitis, a rare and debilitating condition that causes the inflammation of blood vessels. The disease led to serious complications, including the loss of the ability to walk. For a man whose life had been defined by creativity and motion, this was a devastating blow. Ramis's battle with the illness was marked by determination and resilience. He continued to work and spend time with his family, even as his health deteriorated. His sense of humor, which had been a cornerstone of his life and career, remained intact, providing comfort to both himself and those around him during this difficult time. Despite the severity of his condition, Ramis remained optimistic and focused on the positive aspects of his life. He drew strength from his family, particularly his wife, Erica, and their children, who provided unwavering support during his illness. Ramis also found solace in his work, continuing to write and develop projects even as his physical abilities declined. On February 24, 2014, Harold Ramis passed away at the age of 69 from complications related to his illness. His death was a profound loss to the world of comedy and to all who knew him. The news of his passing was met with an outpouring of grief and tributes from fans, friends, and colleagues, who remembered him not only as a brilliant filmmaker but also as a kind and generous man.